you the best in sight. With some Southern charm, alright. Yeah, with some Southern charm, it's nice. Hey, yeah, it's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack tonight. On my right, Adam Markham. Addy, how are you, hon?
Doing well, Josh. Very well.
We got Monday Night Football on the TV again. Keenan Allen doing some absurd acrobatics here as we wind down the fourth quarter. But you're sweating out some round robin bets in the old DraftKings app, it sounds like.
Yeah, don't think it's going to happen. I needed Quincy Williams to do his thing on the tackles. But,
and Quincy Williams has been doing the damn thing on the tackles and just coming up a little short tonight.
Yeah, it's okay. It was C.J. Mosley night. So
C.J. Mosley, yeah. It's hard when both those guys have to eat, right? So.
Yeah, but they've been doing it. But Bryce Huff got himself another sack. The Jets' defensive line has been eating. Both defensive lines have been eating. So nice to see. It's a fun game for the IDP heads.
For the IDP heads, yeah. If you're into offensive fantasy football only, 20-6 affair between the Zach Wilson-led Jets and Justin Herbert with a bum finger has not been that fun to watch. So, but welcome into the Week 9 recap. We are glad you are here. We are going to be doing a little bit different format this week. We are, instead of going game by game, we are going to be switching things up a little bit and trying something different for the sake of expediency and focusing these episodes a little more. You're still going to get it jam-packed with content. We're going to mention a ton of names in this episode, but we're basically going to go studs and stinkers at each position, storylines, and then waivers at the end of this episode. And then next week, we will do a separate waiver episode that will drop Monday night / Tuesday morning. So, Addy, a little bit different setup for tonight's episode, but we're still going to bring the goods because that's what we do.
Got this thing loaded full of nuggies, baby.
It is a Chick-fil-A 50 tray. That anytime I go to a Thanksgiving party and or a Christmas party and the Chick-fil-A 50 count nuggie tray is on the table,
I'm gonna be a good party.
I'm good. Like, I don't need anything else. All your little dishes look fine, but you know where I'm going to be.
Oh, you're going to be hanging out by the nugget tray, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to load up 4 or 5 and then kind of wait till everyone gets their first serving. And then I'm just going to go back and get 14.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to clean it out.
A lot of folks probably don't realize that I think we first met each other through church. I think it was either church or middle school basketball. It was around the same time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Sunday school, though, church. It was like the first encounter. But
yes.
Josh, they used to do every Sunday, they used to get just loads of donut holes.
Mm-hmm. From Great American Donut Shop.
Best donut shop in the world. I'll put it up against pretty much anybody.
I would too. It's the best. It's the thing I miss the most, having to be gluten-free.
But yeah, they'd get 200 donut holes, and Josh would just be posted up by them, stalking them the entire time. Would definitely rip through at least, I'd say, 20, 25.
Easily. And that was back in the day. This was 8th grade, so just an unreal metabolism. And used to get
body's just different. Can't do the things.
6-pack abs. I mean, I was in fantastic shape because I was playing 3 sports, so I was just housing some donut holes. But used to have the Coke vending machine, and it was 50 cents per Coke. Yeah. So every day or every Sunday, I'd come in and get 25 donut holes and a vanilla Coke, and just down about 1,000 grams of sugar.
Yeah, that's a great way to start your day.
Yeah, it really is. It doesn't matter how you start your day when you're 13, 14 years old.
Yeah. It's just good you're there, I guess. It's whatever. Your parents can't say anything to you either. It's like, yeah, you're there.
You're there. Are you, absolutely going into a diabetic coma? Probably.
Yeah.
But that's okay. So, yes.
God got you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to go meet him if I try to do that today. That's for sure. So welcome in to the Week 9 recap. We're going to go through linebacker, D-line, DB, stinkers and studs, and then storylines, and then we'll wrap up with waivers. This is the first week we have the all-new schedule for the IDP show feed. Addy, I'm very excited. We're rolling out this new recap. It will be coming to you all Mondays. And then, like I said, we'll have the waiver episodes dropping on Tuesdays. That'll start next week with the separate waiver episode. Chase's ranking episodes will be in the feed from now on. You'll have those late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning for your preview purposes. And then for that 4th episode, we're going to drop in just a rotating cast of different types of episodes. We have a great episode of IDP Bets coming up this week, Addy with Justin Varnes and Johnny the Greek. That'll be Friday. And then next week, we've got the IDP Trade Show coming back at you with Steve Falco, Front Office Pros. And then we're going to mix in some Dynasty content as well, because we're getting down near that time of year when the Dynasty folks are looking forward to 2024.
Just hitting the things that matter.
Yep.
And I think, betting, trades.
Yep.
Dynasty talk.
Yep.
That's what matters. That's what really isn't being talked about enough in IDP.
Yep.
And we've always been kind of the, I think, the leaders as far as like Dynasty goes.
Yep.
And
we're a Dynasty focused show. In season, we want to help you try to win week to week, right? But for a lot of folks, at this point, the season's kind of over. They're packing it in. But they may have some Dynasty squads. They want to, find out some good sleepers or some good trade targets. They may want to
restarts every single week.
I was going to say, they may want to pull up the DraftKings app and do some prop bets. So let's help them out with that.
That's right. Yeah, I mean that's what we're always trying to do, is just think of ways that we can help you stay engaged, help you stay locked in, because that's the secret to all this stuff, right? Just being locked in, staying up with all the news. That's really it.
Well, and just our goal has always been to innovate and try to do something different and helpful. We want to have the best quality information, the most helpful information, because at the end of the day, we are here to entertain you. That's a big part of our value proposition as a brand. But if we're not helping you win, then we probably need to stop doing this podcast. So we're going to try to help you win week to week, but also win some bets, win some trades, win some Dynasty leagues as well.
We're also going to shut the hell up about that stuff, though. We're not going to be like talking about our wins all the time. We're 4 years into this point. We'll occasionally we'll victory lap, but at this point, come on, like we
what to expect.
We're good on all that stuff.
Yeah, we just want to make y'all aware of some changes, and we'd love to hear your feedback as well, because we are here. We serve at the bequest of the people. So let us know what you think. Do you like the changes? Do you like the new episodes? We would love to get your feedback. DM us on Twitter or email us, big3idp@gmail.com. We'd love to have your feedback. But preamble finished. Let's talk Week 9 recap, Addy, and let's start with the linebacker studs. And we're starting with a name that I think some people did not expect to play this week after exiting last week's game early with a hamstring injury. A lot of us expected this guy to sit, but Juwan Bentley is the linebacker leader. This is updated through Sunday Night Football. We don't have the Monday night game in there right now because it is wrapping up. But Juwan Bentley, New England Patriots, 35.15 points. He has had 16.71 points per game since week 5. That is 15th best among LBs. He had 13 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, 4 sack yards, 2 QB hits on 100% of snaps. 66.7 overall PFF grade. That's 48th best among linebackers. LB 16 on the season.
Surprising, isn't it?
We actually have a useful linebacker for the New England Patriots. This is pretty fun.
He's very good, and he's very slept on. I mean, you look at the grades, the guy's been really good since he came into the league. And yeah, I mean, New England just gave him a nice little deal. He's the type of linebacker that I love. Racks up tackles, TFLs, on the reg, and he'll sprinkle in a sack or two. And I think he has 3 now on the season. But Juwan Bentley, he's awesome. He's playing the most snaps he's ever played.
Yeah, 100% of snaps.
So
2 sacks, 2 TFLs, 13 tackles this last week. So just an outstanding performance from him. Let's hit the top 5, and then we can come back and talk about some of these guys. We've got a few more linebackers pulled out because we know y'all love linebackers. So number 2 on the week, it is another not sexy veteran, Jordan Hicks, 30.55 points. He had 11 tackles, 2 TFLs, a sack, a PD, and a QB hit. Nate Landman, the human alter ego for Nate Oceanman, the
Landman.
Yeah, the Avengers cast.
You remember you remember Shaq doing that about Birdman?
No,
Birdman.
I remember Birdman.
I think we're gonna start doing Landman.
Okay, I like it. We'll We'll have to pull up the Shack drop on the board for reference here. But yes, Landman was number 3, 27.7 points, 10 tackles, 2 TFLs, a sack, 1 PD, 1 QB hit. Friggin' Demario Davis. We sit here, I talk trash about the guy saying he's washed, it's over. Here's Adam stashing this guy everywhere, riding into the fantasy playoffs with Jordan Poyer and Demario Davis. 25.9 points in week 9, 10 tackles, a TFL, a sack, a forced fumble, and a QB hit on 100% of snaps. TJ Edwards rounds out the top 5, 25.25 points in week 9. We'll also talk about the injury replacement for Tremaine Edmonds a little later on this list, but 15 tackles, a TFL, a PD, and a QB hit for TJ Edwards. Addy, who do you want to talk about here out of this top 5?
Let's just dig into all of them for a little bit. Let's hit some of these nugs. Jordan Hicks, so he is LB8 since week 5 in points per game. He's averaging 19.8 points per game over that span. He is currently the LB8 on the season, 78.3 overall PFF grade this year. That ranks 12th among all linebackers. Landman, 81.8 overall PFF grade on the season. This is 12th best among linebackers. Currently the LB40 and rising every week. Because remember, Troy Anderson, that is what's a little sad here. This was supposed to be Troy Anderson.
Every time I see Landman, I just think about this should be Troy Anderson.
Yeah.
And what could it have been for this guy with the 10 RAS, just freak of nature athlete?
I think it would have been similar to this,
Yep.
14.4 points per game since week 5, LB23 over that stretch for Nate Landman. So incredible start to the season. Demario Davis, 17.2 points per game since week 5. That is 13th best among all linebackers over that span. 23 tackles in his last 2 games, 13% tackle rate.
Taken up a little bit from like 3.4% earlier in the season.
I mean, honestly, that 13%, I feel like that's his best he's had in like 3 or 4 years. 89.9 overall PFF grade this year.
First among all linebackers.
Yep, he
wow.
is the LB14 on the season. TJ Edwards, 18.2 points per game since week 5. That's 11th best among linebackers. 81 overall PFF grade this year. That's 15th best. He finished 2nd among linebackers in 2022 with an 84.8.
I didn't realize he was 2nd. That's really surprising last year.
Very nice to see him still performing well in a new situation. He is currently the LB6 on the season. So, boy.
Everything we wanted. I mean, you look at this list, and I think most people would have said that TJ Edwards was sort of a trendy pick to be a top 12 guy going into this season.
So felt a little rich for me,
Yes.
I remember when it was happening, I think we were like, oh. I mean, he's being picked in the 2nd, 3rd round, and that seemed a little rich, but
I remember
a value, I think.
The signal to me that made me kind of perk up was when John took him at the end of the 1st, I think, in one of the best balls that we did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
That's right.
I'm paying more attention now to TJ Edwards. And I mean, the guy's just been phenomenal. He's been everything that you want him to be there in Chicago. But let's talk about here at 6 and 7, 2 linebackers who have been on opposite ends of the spectrum this season in terms of making your fantasy seasons better and worse. On the better side, Levante David, 22.75 points, 11 tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 forced fumble, 99% of snaps. And then Devin White finally got his act together. 21.95 points in week 9, 9 tackles, a TFL, a sack, 7 sack yards, 2 QB hits, 100% of snaps. He had just been averaging 10.93 points per game since week 5, which was 47th among linebackers over that stretch. So Devin White finally had the blow-up game. Am I expecting this every week? No, but I will take it here in week 9 of the season.
Yeah. His tackles plus assist number was 5.5 on DraftKings this week. So I mean, even they were doubting him.
Yeah,
that was one that I
Vegas is a like stone cold sober look at a player's performance, right?
Yeah.
Like a team's performance. Like they are so clear eyed on how players are actually performing, how teams are performing. So it's like, yeah, if they're down on Devin White, I feel like that's a pretty good indicator that we should be down on Devin White as well.
45.8 overall PFF grade on the season for Devin White. This is actually up from last year when he posted a 43.7. Devin White has never graded higher than 51.9 in a single season, according to PFF. Levante David, let's give this guy the respect he deserves. 71.3 overall PFF grade this year. Just a decade of great grades. Its average depth of tackle is 1.3 yards. This is fourth best among all linebackers.
That's a great stat. That is like because that tells me that you're smart, you're reading the play well, you know where you're supposed to be. It just is indicative of a really good football player.
He's 33, 34.
Yeah.
It's just insane. But yeah, 22.8 points per game since week 5. This is fourth best among all linebackers during that stretch. Levante David is the buy, I think, for contenders. I mean,
yes.
If you're wanting to, a few weeks ago, you probably could have got him for a fourth.
Yep.
Now you probably got to give at least a third.
I think so. LB 11 on the season. I mean, he's been nothing but consistent so far. 22.8 points per game since week 5. Fourth best.
And I think you can feel fine about that. I talked about this with Jace on the trade show we did last, but I'm not going to be surprised if Levante David plays another. Maybe this was Bobby Wagner, but same difference here.
Same difference,
Not going to be surprised if Levante plays another 2-3 years.
I could see another 2 years. 3 is kind of pushing it.
Yeah,
but
he'd be like 37 at that point.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, man, if you're still doing it at that point, hey.
That's sick.
Godspeed, because that is sick. Let's round out the top 12, though, Addy. Jordan Brooks was number 8. Seattle Seahawks, he's been phenomenal this season. 19.75 points, another great performance for him. 11 tackles, a TFL, a PD, 71% of snaps. Tyrell Dodson, keep in mind, Terrell Bernard went out of this game. Matt Milano's already out for the season, so Tyrell Dodson filled in admirably in this game versus the Bengals, 19.5 points, 8 tackles, 2 assists, 2 tackles for loss, 96% of snaps. Zach Cunningham, Nakobe Dean exited with injury, so Zach Cunningham held down the linebacker spot, 100% of snaps there, 18.5 points, 8 tackles, 2 assists, a tackle for loss, and a pass defended. Blake Cashman, still the leading linebacker there, snaps-wise for the Houston Texans and production-wise. We saw Denzel Perryman get some more run. We saw Christian Harris, Henry To'o fell out of favor. So outside of Blake Cashman, that linebacker core is a mess. I don't want anything to do with these guys. But Cashman has been solid. 10 tackles, 2 TFLs, 82% of snaps. And then out of nowhere, folks, Shaq Leonard's chirping about he doesn't like his role. He wants the coaching staff wants him to make more big splash plays. This is the big Shaq Leonard week, right? It's going to be Shaq and EJ Speed with Zaire Franklin ruled out. No, it's going to be Segun Alubi, who had not played up until this point. I think he'd played maybe like 9 snaps or something, if that. 100% of snaps, 15.75 points, 5 tackles, and an INT. So what the hell's going on there? Let's just pause and address these last few guys, Addy.
Yeah, we're going to shut up about EJ Speed.
Yeah, that was, wow.
We're not going to mention that again.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I don't know, man. I mean,
This
wasn't
so weird.
This wasn't on
there.
anyone's rate. And they won, so it's not like we can say, well, I mean, Zaire will probably be back. He hadn't missed a game in his career up to this point, so I think he'll be back.
Was that his first?
I think that was his first,
wow.
Yes.
I looked. He's still going to be on pace for over 200 tackles.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to.
He's going to have to
keep doing the damn thing.
You're going to bet the over on his tackle prop next game because I think he's
Is he going to be healthy?
I think he'll be back. He was downgraded to doubtful later in the week, so I think that if he can get, some rest this week, I think he'll be back for week 10. That's my prediction.
53.44 overall PFF grade this season for Segun Alubi. That's just 80 total snaps. Let's talk about Blake Cashman, though. In PFF grades, 89.9 overall PFF grade. That is second among all linebackers. Average depth of tackle, 2.3 yards. That's 13th best among linebackers. He is LB 27 on the year. 21.1 points per game since week 5. That is 5th best among linebackers during that span. I talked about it a couple weeks ago, too. Blake Cashman, another one of those types. You should have been trying to send out some 4th-round picks, I think, for some Cashman.
He's been straight Cashman.
He has been Cashman. We got some awesome names.
It's a really
Landman, Cashman.
Cashman. Let's just get more mans in there.
Cunningham, man.
Cunning man. He's a cunning man. Zach Cunningham. this list is really populated with a lot of like unsexy but just like serviceable veterans. And now with Nakobe Dean banged up again, I mean, Zach Cunningham may have been dropped in some leagues. So go check your waivers, see if Zach Cunningham is out there, see if Tyrell Dotson is out there.
Yep.
Because I haven't seen anything on the Terrell Bernard injury front to see.
It was concussion. That was unfortunate too. He was headed for a really nice week, I think.
So, and a lot of players are having a very difficult time passing the concussion protocol this season. So don't be surprised if Terrell Bernard does not play in week 10. So go see if Tyrell Dotson's out there. Go see if Zach Cunningham is out there.
Dorian Williams could be a spot start for you.
Yep.
But yeah, 8.7 points per game since week 5 for Zach Cunningham. That's 62nd among linebackers, but Cunningham is heating up with back-to-back double-digit point weeks. 70.9 overall PFF grade this season. That ranks 39th among linebackers. That's really good for Cunningham, who's notoriously been a really bad grader.
Yeah.
He's LB 49 on the season. It is a little worrisome with the Kobe Dean. It's starting to become a bit of a trend, him leaving these games or he's getting banged up. I mean, this has been like he's played what, 10, 11 games like in his NFL career.
Well, he only played the one last season.
Maybe it was just one last year.
I think it was one. I think he's legit played,
but that was because of injuries.
4 or 5 games in his career thus far.
So I mean, he's dealt with like 3 or 4 injuries.
Yes. And I swear this injury was the same one.
This was a foot one.
Yeah, that he aggravated. So it's not good. It's the bloom is off the rose for Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, it's a shame. Let's also circle back around to Jordan Brooks, who had 19.75 points this week.
On it.
Averaging 18.7 points per game since week 5. That is 10th best among linebackers. PFF grades are also really good. 70.7 overall PFF grade, 69.5 coverage grade. Both of these are career highs. His previous best in each category came in 2021 when he posted a 58.4 overall PFF and a 43.4 coverage. Contract year glow up. We love to see it. He ranks 17th in average depth of tackle. He is LB9 on the season.
It's and
he's just continues to climb up the dynasty.
I was going to say, that's what I wanted to talk about was where is he in your dynasty ranks right now?
He's 5.
LB5.
He's 5.
Where was he to start the season?
Probably like in like the 14 to 15
I was going to say,
range.
I remember him being like 13 to 15, I felt like.
Yeah, I was a little scared.
Well, just the injury.
I didn't know how he would return from it.
They didn't pick up his option. He's going to be hitting the free agent market. What if he doesn't play till Thanksgiving? Like, is he going to get a deal? Is he going to have any sort of job security? And I think he's secured himself a nice payday this offseason.
And we talk about it all the time with like mentors and stuff. And like the dude's just been mentored by Bobby Wagner his entire career, pretty much outside of that year that he left for Los Angeles.
And now he's back, and mentoring
and it's right.
It's flowing once more.
So, I mean, I just feel really good about Jordan Brooks, and we know how these NFL teams operate. I mean, they look at the tackle numbers, and
Jordan Brooks,
first round pick,
will get a big
tons
contract.
of tackles. Like he's going to be floating around for at least another 3-4 years, and we see the way he produces. I mean, even if it's not 100%, which it's not this year. I think it's like more in like the 70 to 80% range, but also he is coming off of an ACL injury. So, I mean, that's why you're seeing
And he's playing alongside Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
So that guy is going to be the 100% snap guy. It'll be, my prediction is that Patrick Queen gets the Tremaine Edmonds type of deal this offseason, and Jordan Brooks gets the TJ Edwards type of deal. Will they go to the same team? Maybe. Stay tuned.
Oh, man, that would be a huge underpay, though, for Brooks.
I think Brooks is getting less than Queen, personally.
Yeah, maybe.
Just because of the injury history. They're both first-round picks. Queen was a little earlier in the first round.
That'd be tough.
I think Queen is getting a massive payday. He's my early prediction for highest paid linebacker in this free agent class. But let's round out. We did like 17 on this one, so let's round out the rest of the 17 here that we got.
It's Blake Cashman for me.
It's Blake Cashman. Yeah, he's a pending free agent?
You're about to get to max deal.
Max deal.
In NBA terms.
NBA terms, yeah, 5 years, whatever it is. Super max. All right, so number 13 on the week, Jermaine Pratt, 15.25 points. Damone Clark, Cowboys, was number 14, 15.25 points as well. Jack Sanborn, special agent Sanborn, he's back. Chicago Bears, 14.5 points. Isaiah McDuffie filling in for Quay Walker, Green Bay Packers, 14.25 points. And then Leo Chenal filling in for Nick Bolton, 14.25 points in week 9. Eddie, who do you want to talk about from this group? Maybe we start with one of your favorite babies, Jermaine Pratt, clocking in here at number 13.
Yeah, 56.7 overall PFF grade this year. That is way down from his 80.6 mark in 2022. So he was in the contract year in 2022, and so now he's got that money.
He got paid. We're good.
He's kicking them feet up.
Yep. It's like, let's just do the least that we can.
So look for Pratt to start carrying like in a year or two.
Yeah, when he has to get a new deal.
Whenever they cut him with the dead money or whatever. But yeah, he's LB24 on the season. He's been solid, man. He's been really good. He's a great LB3. I don't really want him as my LB2, but I've got him at a lot of places as that type of linebacker.
I like to put in the LB3 that has some upside, right?
Yeah,
because I think you can play that to where it's like, oh, I could get a guy that's gonna get me, maybe I don't know, 6 or 7 tackles and not crap the bed for you. But I like to mix in those guys like a Willie Gay or a Jermaine Pratt who has a higher upside, right? Can sprinkle in some big plays and give you some pop weeks.
And with Pratt, I mean, you love to see those snaps this year. I mean, they've been, previously with Logan Wilson, he's always been like the 75 to 80% type guy, and Logan Wilson's always 100% type guy. But now Jermaine Pratt, I mean, his snaps are in the 90% range. So just love to see that. And then he's a solid option to have every single week. Damone Clark, 10.6 points per game since week 5. That's 50th best among linebackers. 65.0 overall PFF grade on the season. He has LB 57 on the year.
But now with LVE out, I mean, I would expect Damone Clark to continue to rise.
Yeah, I think so. He's a fine option. An LB4 type for you.
Yeah.
Sanborn, love seeing Sanborn out there. Dude.
It is cool. I love the sequel. The unexpected Sanborn sequel this season has been a lot of fun.
Did you give the stat line? 10 tackles, 1 TFL?
I did not. 98% of snaps.
It's been pretty good, even though it's been a part-time role. I mean, 8.85 points per game since week 5. That was 60th best among linebackers. 62.1 overall PFF grade. That's 63rd among linebackers. Average depth of tackle is 2.6 yards. That's 17th best among linebackers. He has LB 53 on the season.
I don't think they'll be in a rush to bring back Tremaine Edmonds.
I don't think so.
They were talking like, oh my God, season-ending IR. Like, that was so gruesome. So you got Sanborn. He's had experience, even like you said, even though it's a part-time role. I think they've got confidence, and this team's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, what do they need to roll Tremaine Edmonds, rush him back out there for?
But, I mean, this is about as good of a injury replacement as you can find.
Yes, truly.
I mean, I'd say he was probably most people's waiver out of the week.
Yes. Both the guys. I mean, Leo Chenal here showed up at 17, 7 tackles, a sack, and a QB hit. Isaiah McDuffie probably goes back to irrelevance because Devondre Campbell is back. Quay Walker did not play this game. But, hey, if you plugged in McDuffie with Quay Walker out, he got you 7 tackles and 2 TFLs on 93% of snaps. So these are just the important names to keep in mind, right? Because even if the starters come back, like when Nick Bolton comes back and Tremaine Edmonds comes back and Quay Walker comes back, just keep these guys in mind because, the Zach Cunninghams, Tyrell Dodsons, like these, you need to know the depth charts for these linebackers because these guys go in and out. I mean, most linebackers in a 17-game season, I don't know, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would say most of them probably play over under 15 and a half games. I mean, they're going to miss some time. So you plug these guys into a profitable role and a lot of them will perform well.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Also, I mean, Leo Chenal, it's just really good to see him perform when he gets his opportunity. I mean, he pretty much does this every time he gets a chance. He does well on the stat sheet. I mean, 7 tackles, a sack, a QB hit this week, 11.4 points per game since week 5. And again, that's in a part-time type of role. That's 40th best among linebackers over that stretch. 73.2 overall PFF grade this year, 28th among linebackers. He's LB 45 on the year. So from a dynasty standpoint, a nice asset.
Very nice.
A guy that I really I want to have on my team.
Good player.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he's still super young. Like he's
insane athleticism.
He's gonna get someday. He's gonna get himself a complete role.
Yep,
100% a snap type guy, I think. And if not, maybe he's an 80% type guy. Who cares?
But you're not paying a lot for this guy,
right? You see
he's
the
a
way
great
he produces,
lottery
though.
ticket,
right? But you see how he produces. I mean, that stuff usually translates. He's one of these types that I think we're gonna like. Tackles, TFLs, sacks, like Leo Chenal.
Like Leo Chenal a lot. He's climbing double-decker buses. I mean,
that is hot.
Probably one of my favorite clips of any NFL player ever doing anything, because I think if I attempted to do that, I don't think I'm getting high enough to get my hands up on the second level of the bus.
Oh, no chance.
I mean,
no
I'm
chance.
maybe
I'm definitely not reaching the bar.
No way. I don't think I'm clearing the first row of windows, like the first floor of windows.
My shirt's going to get stuck on the glass.
Yes.
It's going to raise up and it's going to look really stupid.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh my God, look at those love handles.
I'm going to keep trying to do it,
Because then you're committed at that point.
Yeah.
You're
and it
really
just looks worse and worse. And I keep getting less and less.
Then you fall to the concrete and get run over by the bus and they have to take you to the hospital.
Yeah.
Your pants have fallen off at that point. Shirt's gone.
Yeah.
Dignity's gone.
It's a bad scene.
Yeah, folks, just admire and appreciate what this guy did because it was a super heroic type feat. Let's move to stinkers though, Addy, and let's talk about 4 guys here who were all top 13 linebackers. Roquan Smith, LB 13, just 5.25 points in week 9. His teammate, LB 10, Patrick Queen, just 10 points in week 9. LB 12, Kaiser White, 9.75 points in week 9. And then LB 4, Bobby Okereke, just 9.75 points. The thing that you notice about these performances, Addy, at least to me, what jumps out, they all came in just the wonkiest games some of the wonkiest games we might see all season. I mean, these were absolute getting your doors blown off type of games. Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen, the Ravens absolutely blasted the Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals got waxed by the Cleveland Browns, and the Giants got absolutely windmill dunked on by the Antonio Pierce-led Las Vegas Raiders. So this is one of those instances where all of these guys played close to 100% of snaps. Queen and Roquan were a little bit under, probably because they got pulled, I would say, sometime in the fourth quarter.
Definitely.
So I'm not worried about any of these guys at all. This was just a wonky week.
LB 12 on the season. Patrick Queen still LB 10. Bobby O still LB 4. It happens.
Yeah. These weren't like
now Roquan. A little concerned about Roquan at all? I mean, 10.9 points per game since week 5. That's 48th among linebackers.
It is interesting to me that Patrick Queen has been the better option on the season.
Is that interesting? Yep.
Yep. So, it's was he LB1 last year? Who was LB1? It was
probably Roquan
or Foye
or Luvu, maybe.
I think it was Foye.
No, Luvu was points per game, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, he was points per game.
Definitely Foye.
Foye, I think Roquan was up there. Zaire Franklin and Nick Bolton, I think, were your top 4.
Probably.
Something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm not looking at Roquan as like that locked and loaded top 3 LB stud every week. I think he's probably closer to like the back half of the top 12 for me. But he's the type of guy that can go for 25, 30 points every week. Exactly. I'm not sitting Roquan down, but I am maybe shuffling the order a little bit of my team, depending on how many lineup spots I've got.
Yeah. And in Dynasty, you're not really shuffling him down or doing anything like that. Just because, I mean, he's going to be there for the next 4 or 5 years, and he's going to continue to have, maybe he finishes as LB 10 this year.
Yep. That's still great. That's still top 10 linebacker.
But over the next 5 years, he's going to probably have a couple LB1 years. You know what I mean? That's Roquan Smith. So that's why he's the Dynasty LB1 for me. 88.3 overall PFF grade this season. That is 4th best among linebackers. His previous high was last year when he posted a 70.6 PFF grade. 57.9 overall PFF grade for Kaiser White. That ranks 71st. 72.1 overall PFF grade for Patrick Queen. He's been really good as far as the grades. I mean,
that's
look at
the
these
best
grades.
of his career.
Best of his career. He keeps getting better every single year.
Talk about mentoring. I mean, he was just a rocket ship, almost. I mean, almost doubling his PFF score when Roquan came to town.
Yeah. Look at his career: 29.7 in 2020. I mean, low.
That is like some Christian Harris level ineptitude.
That is blood red right there. 43.5 in 2021. I mean, I remember the conversations very well with Patrick Queen. We're like, what is this guy's deal? This guy stinks.
Does this guy suck?
We should. I mean, that's a big reason why. I mean, like, people aren't hype about Patrick Queen is because he started off his career grade wise so
have
poorly.
That bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah. But, this guy is young as hell. We've talked about it before, but I think he's still just like 23,
I think.
This is going to be his it'll be his fifth year coming up. 29.7 in 2020, 43.5 in 2021, 70.0 in 2022, and then, of course, 72.1 in 2022 or 2023. So, Patrick Queen, man, it's
arrow up. He's the up emoji.
He's doing great.
He's 24. He just turned 24 in August 13th.
Bobby O is also grading very well this year, 81.5 overall PFF grade. That is 13th among linebackers. So,
yeah, no concerns about these guys at all. It's just a down week. It happens. Let's talk defensive line studs. And are we surprised at all to see the name atop this list? Triple X Max Crosby, Las Vegas Raiders, 38.2 points in week 9.
It's going to be a movie.
It is. It needs to be a movie with Brendan Fraser's character from Bedazzled playing Max Crosby.
Did you see his video that he posted about saying he was wanting the Raiders fans to come out or whatever? It was going to be a movie.
Oh no, I didn't. I saw him smoking cigars in the locker room after the win.
I hate those. Don't you? It just feels so cringy.
Yeah, it's like
there's just no good way to do any of that stuff.
No, it's like it always comes off as like really, I guess, like forced and just kind of awkward. Like, have your celebration, like have the music, dance, smoke your cigars, whatever. But do we have to turn everything into content?
I know, man.
And then let
just
those guys live.
And yeah, I just feel bad for the guys on the other end of that camera, that just get you're on a live stream now with millions of people watching you.
Yeah.
Act normal, act cool.
Have clothes on. I mean, you may be butt naked.
Don't say anything dumb.
Yeah,
that could ruin your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just trying to chill, man. We just played a very stressful, high intensity, high pressure game. Like, I'm just trying to decompress and smoke a cigar and like vibe for like an hour. Can I not be on camera for an hour, please?
I'm just trying to get this buzz.
That's right. Just stop harshing my buzz. So yes, Max Crosby was number 1 on the week for
love Max Crosby.
Line. He's so good
as an IDP. I mean, he is so good, so good. But I don't know. It just seems like a little annoying.
We don't have to turn everything into content, folks. That's the moral of the story.
Hate to be that guy.
Yeah, hate to be that 36-year-old guy. 8 tackles, 3 TFLs, 3 sacks, and 3 QB hits. 100% of snaps. Because just why the hell not? Number 2. Let's talk about that trade again, Addy. Byron Young, Los Angeles Rams, 31.
What did you do last week, Josh?
Yeah, not a lot, but I love what I'm seeing here from Byron Young. 31.5 points, just 8.09 points per game average the last 5 games, 85% of snaps. Alex Highsmith was number 3, 31.2 points. Just a dominant performance against the Tennessee Titans on Thursday Night Football. Let's get some D-tackle love, though, to round out the top 5. Dalvin Tomlinson, Browns, 29.45. There's another defensive tackle from the Browns. Again, the Cardinals were a train wreck in that game. 29.45 points for Dalvin Tomlinson. DeForest Buckner was wrecking shop for the Indianapolis Colts. 29 points in week 9 on 66% of snaps. Let's just do the top 6 here. Micah Parsons, Cowboys, 27.05 points on 82% of snaps. Addy, where do you want to start top 6 for week 9?
Let's start with the big boys, I guess. Max Crosby, 91.7 overall PFF grade this year. That's 4th best among edge rushers. 18.1 pass rush win rate. That's 13th best among edge rushers. He is DL2 on the season.
Incredible.
Absolute stud, dude. And then Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons, not the Eagles get the win, but Micah Parsons was wreaking havoc in this game.
He was awesome. He's been awesome.
There was one play that was making the rounds on Twitter of him getting to Hurts in less than 2 seconds.
Yes.
Incredible. I did like him crowd surfing the pile too when they did the tush push from the goal line. He's literally on the pile riding it for a good 2 or 3 yards. That was fun.
Yeah, he's so good, man. 91.0 overall PFF grade. That's 6th best among edge rushers. 22.8 pass rush win rate. That's 4th best. Currently the DL5 on the season. Still, the Dynasty Edge 1 for me. It's the overall 101 for me in Dynasty.
I think so too.
You think that still?
I feel good about that.
Yeah. I mean, Max Crosby is making you feel I
think the argument I would have of all those folks would probably be Max Crosby right now.
Yeah.
Because you get 100% of snaps. I mean, that's just like
really nice.
The volume is insane for Max Crosby.
Are you, what about Nick Bosa versus Max Crosby? Are you starting to...
I want to see what Chase Young's impact is on Nick Bosa. We didn't get to talk about that on Mike yet, but Chase Young getting shipped out to San Francisco. Montez Sweat's in Chicago now. 49ers were on the bye, so we didn't get to see Chase Young yet. But
totally different situations, those two.
Yes.
Went into Montez, you're going to have no help over here. And
zero help. But we will pay you $98 million to stay here.
Yep.
That was right. My favorite story of the week was Montez like, yeah, I'm just going to chill. I'm going to kind of take a look around, explore all my options. Like 2 days later, Montez Sweat, 4-year, $98 million deal, $72 million guaranteed. It's like, well, money changes your mind pretty quick.
Definitely. I mean, and I think that's kind of what Chicago has to do at this point.
They have to overpay.
They have to overpay to get people to go
yes.
there. I mean, and I don't know that Montez would have gotten that elsewhere. I mean, we like Montez.
I think he might have gotten close to that in free agency. So what the Bears did was they paid a second-round pick to not have to go try to fight the market and eventually lose this guy. I mean, I think they just bought themselves the best possible chance to lock in a young edge rusher.
Yeah. Oh, it would have been one of the worst moves of all time if they let him leave.
I know. I think he has all the leverage in that situation. You just traded a second-round pick. It's almost like Montez, name your number and we'll pay it.
Yeah, he did them a solid too, I think. I mean,
he did.
They were kind of stuck there.
Yeah, that team stinks.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think, though, to answer your question, I would probably have Max over Nick Bosa right now.
Still pretty close. So
it's very close.
Myles Garrett entering the convo, or is he because of his age? I mean, he is like 27, where those guys are like in the 20, 25 range.
Yeah. All those guys are right there neck and neck. I mean, it's...
Yeah. I mean, you can't be upset with any of those types.
No, I think Max is probably the leader in the clubhouse. I think it's still Micah Parsons, number 1 for me. Probably Max, number 2. Myles, number 3. It's between him and Bosa in my mind for that third spot.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So, but yeah, Byron Young, number 2 on the week. Alex Highsmith had a nice bounce back game. We were waiting for that because he's been a little quiet. Just 7.78 points per game average the last 5 games.
His deal looks pretty good now. Didn't he get like 4 years, $66 million or something like that?
Yeah, this offseason, right?
That's pretty nice.
Yep. So a lot of people were giving the Browns crap. I do think they overpaid with the second-round pick just to basically have the exclusive right to negotiate with Montez Sweat right now. But you got the deal done. You paid a second-round pick. You paid the guy. It's like you got a young stud edge rusher, and those guys are hard to come by. So the ends justify the means, I think. But yeah, DeForest Buckner had another nice performance. Just 9.73 points per game the last 5 games, though. Looking good, though, for the PFF grades. 18th among interior defensive linemen, 75 overall PFF grade. Dalvin Tomlinson had a nice week, but has not really been a factor for IDP. Just 3 points per game average the last 5 games. And then, Parsons has been averaging just 13.49 points per game. So he's been a little bit quiet, but he had 9 tackles at TFL, a sack and a half, and 3 QB hits. He is the 6th best edge rusher in terms of overall PFF grade, 91 overall PFF grade, currently DL5. And let's talk about the back half of the top 12, though. Why don't you kick us off with number 7? This is a player now I associate very closely with you.
Kyle Van Noy of the Ravens, 25.6 points in week 9, 10.14 points per game the last 5 weeks, 2 tackles, 1 TFL, 2 sacks, 21 sack yards, 1 forced fumble, and 2 QB hits. Did this all on just 45% of the snaps, 64.2 overall PFF grade this year. That is 62nd among edge rushers. He is currently DL 67, but remember he missed like the first, 3 weeks?
Yep.
Because he wasn't there. He wasn't on any team at all. So, yeah, Kyle Van Noy, I mean, he should be in consideration for you every single week, I think.
I think so, too.
He's just a proven vet, and, I mean, he's in a great situation, just surrounded by talent, And Jadeveon Clowney's having a nice bounce back, too. He's been really good, especially from a pressure standpoint.
Kyle Van Noy is the perfect flex play for me.
Yes.
Because unless I'm starting like 3 edge rushers or 3 DL, I don't know that I necessarily want to plug him in playing 45% of snaps to like a DE2 type of position. But he's at least in consideration because you have bye weeks coming up. You have injuries.
What he is, he's the perfect sleeper asset.
Oh God, yes, because he's got dual designation, right?
He's just he comes in such handy. He comes in handy.
Yes,
there you go.
He gives you such a good handy every week in the sleeper app.
He really does.
He really does. He's really good at that.
For it. But yeah, I've got him pretty much everywhere. But he's been so good. Continues to get better. Shelby Harris, he had a nice week. He's someone that I've always kind of liked. 25.25 points in week 9. Just 6 points per game, though, over his last 5.
And just 37% of snaps. Yeah. This was an instance of Arizona was not ready to play against this Browns defense, which has been ferocious. But this next guy, Addy,
very nice,
has been ticking up. Who is number 9 on the list?
Very nice. And make sure you check your waiver because I actually added this guy in a dynasty league. I was very surprised to see him out there. But some people get impatient. You got to make room. You know how that stuff goes. So 22.3 points in week 9. This is Khalil Kancey, the rookie, 5 points per game over his last 5. So he's been, really slow, but starting to see those snaps tick up. And
that's the interesting point for me. The snaps are starting to tick up a little bit.
Well, I mean, they don't have a lot there. Logan Hall's out now. Vita Vea was banged up. He's back. But still, I mean, it's gonna be him and Vita Vea, and Shaq Barrett and Joe Tryon. I mean, those are gonna be your dominant pass rushers and players that are performing on the defensive line. 52.5 overall PFF grade. That's 99th among interior defensive linemen. But again, I mean, expect that to go up. I think that Khalil Kancey is one of these types that we could see, potentially get 8 to 10 sacks in a season. I mean, he's more of a pass rushing type defensive tackle. He's not one of your, tackle, eaters, run stuffing types. He's like a 280, like 6'2", 6'3".
Was he the one getting the Aaron Donald comps?
Yeah,
because they both went to
Pitt.
Went to
Pitt. Yeah, both a little undersized.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a much better pass rusher than a run stuffer. So
here's the snap counts for Khalil Kancey. And shout out Football Guys. They have an amazing snap counts per team table with all the players, all the snap counts week by week. Khalil Kancey had 17% of snaps week 1, did not play at all the next 4 games. And then since week 6, he has gone 57% of snaps, 62%, 59%, 82%.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had maybe a calf injury. But that was, I think, something he was dealing with in the preseason, and I guess it became an issue in the season. But yeah, seems like he's good now, and I mean, I would imagine he's going to get all the snaps he can handle.
69% for Vita Vea, just 32% for Greg Gaines, Mike Green 13%, Patrick O'Connor 3%. So Khalil Kancey was the leading snap getter at interior defensive line for Tampa Bay,
and I think he was the 16th. Pick in this year's draft,
first round pick.
But yeah, he was just an insane athlete as well. So yeah, I have high hopes for Khalil Kancey. Check your waiver wires. He's probably not going to be out there in your defensive tackle leagues, but in those leagues, those sleeper leagues where you start 4 or 5 maybe defensive linemen, he could be available for you.
He could be an option.
Be useful.
That's right. Kobe Turner, another edge rusher for the Rams, clocks in here at number 10. 86% of snaps. He went for 21.7 points in week 9, averaging just 5.9 points per game the last 5 games. 10 tackles, a TFL, a sack, and a QB hit. So nice little glow-up game here for Kobe Turner. Kind of not on the radar, really, for me at all. Coming in here alongside Byron Young, which is funny because, I mean, they got their doors blown off pretty much by the Green Bay Packers, starting Brett Ripien at quarterback. But Byron Young and Kobe Turner were getting after it, it seems like, this week.
Yeah, I mean, they had plenty of opportunity. I mean, he played 86% of snaps, Kobe Turner. I mean, we know Byron Young's been playing just basically 90% every single week. So, yeah, I mean, that's nice. And Kobe Turner, he was a rookie as well, I think.
I think so.
So you like to see that there. I mean, those young guys being productive. I mean, they didn't have any really high picks. So, I mean, the fact that they're getting production out of these, third, fourth, fifth rounders says a lot about that team there and that GM.
Yeah, Kobe Turner's snaps have been ticking up since week 6. He's gone 74, 78, 58, 86. So just something to pay attention to. Let's wrap up, though, with the last 2 guys. And speaking of the old reliable veterans, Calais Campbell clocks in number 11 scorer on the week, 20.5 points. He had been averaging 10.82 points per game the last 5 games. He had 4 tackles, a TFL, a sack, 5 sack yards, a safety, and a QB hit on 53% of snaps. And then Zadarius Smith is number 12, 19.85 points in week 9, 5.1 points per game average the last 5 games. On 58% of snaps, he went for 3 tackles, 2 TFLs, a sack, and 2 QB hits. Couple sexy veterans getting it done for you in week 9, Addy.
Yeah. I mean, that's, grown-ass men out here get it done for you. 75.1 overall PFF grade for Calais Campbell this year. That ranks 35th among edge rushers. He is currently the DL 58, but, yeah, he's been really good lately, and he's playing a ton of snaps this year, so you can do worse. I mean, that's a team that they're going to love someone like Campbell. Think about the head coach, Arthur Smith. Everyone hates his guts right now in offensive fantasy land.
This may have been a Photoshop, but the Google autofill when you search Arthur Smith was terrorist. So
yeah,
the public is turning against our formerly mustachioed villain.
Well, he does suck.
He does suck. I think he's getting fired before the end of the season.
His interviews are the worst, and he just seems like just an awful dude to be around. So
born on third base and thinks he hit a home run.
Yep, I saw that. He was his daddy is the owner of FedEx.
FedEx, yeah. This dude is like a multi-millionaire.
So yeah, you can't tell that dude nothing. But yeah, Calais Campbell. I mean, he's going to play very well for someone like Arthur Smith. So I mean, if you can do a lot worse. I mean, he's again one of those perfect like sleeper type guys. If you're on a bye week or something, Zadarius Smith. I told you guys to be patient. This is why 19.8 points this week, 71.6 overall PFF grade this year. That's 40th among edge rushers. 19.3% pass rush win rate. That is 14th best among edge defenders.
What's he doing in true pass sets though, Eddie? I hate that stat.
Boy, that thing has had a moment lately.
It has. It's had a glow up.
It really has. I don't know. We didn't pull that up. It didn't get me going yet, Josh.
It's like when we had the graphing calculators in algebra, in high school. I was like, I just need my abacus. I just need to move the little beads across the lines and I'll be fine.
I've got the 2 or 3 stats that I really care about. Yeah. And, it's any more than that. It feels like a lot of noise.
Yeah, he just listens to these true pass set snaps.
I mean, if it confirms my priors, I'll use it.
Yeah, but if not, GTFO.
Yeah, get out of here with that. I don't have time to see if it does yet.
Yeah. Too much grinding going on.
Sure.
So yeah, wrap up here. Zadarius Smith was great. Let's move though, Addy, to just a few stinkers. And one of these absolutely understandable. Montez Sweat, DL7 on the season, just 6.5 points, 65% of snaps. He's on a new team with Chicago. I do think it is an arrow down situation in terms of his outlook for this season and honestly for Dynasty, because there's just nobody there right now. So maybe that changes in the offseason. Maybe they sign some more guys or draft some edge rushers, but that is a bad team he is on right now and a bad defensive line. George Karlaftis, DL32, had just 3.25 points in week 9. Played the Dolphins, though. This is a team that notoriously gets the ball out very quickly. So not worried there. And then Kayvon Thibodeau, DL13, just 1.25 points, 1 tackle, 85% of snaps. Again, this was a very weird game. I mean, Kayvon seems set up for a really nice matchup because you got Aiden O'Connell, but it's sort of like the Bill Simmons kind of Ewing theory, like the team is going to play better once the head coach is gone. Yeah. That team was fired. It was just a wood chipper situation for the New York Giants. So again, I'm not worried at all about George Karlaftis or Kayvon Thibodeau. Little bit of concern for Montez Sweat just because I think he downgraded his situation pretty significantly.
Yeah, that's kind of all these guys, right? They're always kind of hot and cold. That's Montez Sweat. That's been his story. Karlaftis he's actually been really good this year and kind of consistent. The Kayvon, he's very up and down. He was cold to start, and he's been on fire. And then, now he put up 1.25 points this week. So that's going to happen. It's going to happen with position, but these are all really good assets. I'd love to have basically all of them on my team, man.
Yeah, they're all really good. I'm not worried to the point where I'm dropping these guys or not playing these guys. It's just, something to monitor. We do bring this up here to give you the full picture of who played well, who played poorly. We got to acknowledge that as we go week to week.
Montez Sweat is the DL7 on the season. Karlaftis is the DL32, and Kayvon is the DL13.
There you go. Let's talk about defensive backs, though, Addy. And we can move through this one a little quicker because there are some notable names.
Who cares?
Yeah, there are stream them. What are we doing here? But leading off, one of the best performances you will see all season, another 50-burger for our beloved cornerback for the Indianapolis Colts, Kenny Moore, 53 points. It certainly helps when you have 8 tackles, 2 PDs, and then also 2 pick sixes and 115 return yards on 97% of snaps. Currently DB1 on the year. No surprise, you put up 53 points. You're probably going to vault into that, but he was also averaging almost 18 points per game the last 5 games. Kenny Moore will be in the title of the episode. I'm telling you right now, as we're recording this, he has earned that honor. Let's just pause there to talk about the greatness that is Kenny Moore in 2023.
Some type of wordplay, I'm guessing.
Yes, Kenny does more for your team or something like that. I was thinking, could we make fun of Bryce Young, picking him off and taking it to the crib twice? I'll think of something kind of punny.
Yeah, he's so good, man. Dog. Remember when the scheme made this guy?
Yep.
No, he did not. He is this dude is just such a stud. 80.7 overall PFF grade this season. That is 15th best among cornerbacks. Yeah, currently the DB1. He's just, he's done it for, 5 years at this point? I know he had a down year last year, but, that happens. It happens.
DB.
Yeah.
Turns over every year. He's in consideration, I think. Obviously, he's an auto start in CB required leagues, but I think he's a top option in DB leagues as well, like sleeper.
Yeah. So, and, just that position and those type players, they become just so important to defenses. Mm-hmm. Think about all the good defenses or all just those players like Kenny Moore, Witherspoon. We're seeing him now. L'Jarius Sneed when he was playing slot. Now
Trent McDuffie,
same difference.
The glow up for McDuffie this weekend. Watching the Germany game, Nate Tice put out a tweet that McDuffie was going to be his All-Pro vote for the AFC.
That's awesome.
So,
but Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, just these
dogs,
all
dogs,
slot, dude.
You can't be in the slot if you're not a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
So, love to see it.
Tight ends a little bit, they because they have to block.
They got to do it all, man.
They got to run routes. So, you're just you're different. You're different. That's these slot corners are different.
These guys are built different. That's for sure. So next up here, though, I want to. Like I said, we'll kind of zoom through the DBs a little bit, but I do want to pause on Paulson Adebo. New Orleans Saints, Greg Rosenthal on the Around the NFL Week 9 recap said that he has not seen a DB play 2 better games of football than Paulson Adebo did last week and this week. 39.25 points in Week 9, 100% of snaps. He had 7 tackles, 2 INTs, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, 3 PDs. Paulson Adebo has been fantastic this season. That's a great trio of cornerbacks there with him, Alontae Taylor, and Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah, and then Yadam as a fourth.
Yeah, Isaac Yadam coming in off the bench if one of these guys gets hurt.
Yeah, they know what they're doing with the cornerbacks down there in New Orleans, that's for sure. 86.2 overall PFF grade this year for Adebo. That's 4th best among cornerbacks. Yeah, currently the DB12, and he's missed a handful of games, But he's awesome, dude. He's one of those types that he's a top 6 cornerback for you on any given week. I thought it was going to be Alontae Taylor, and Alontae's going to still have those weeks, but it's Adebo. He's the one you want.
Yep. So, again, one of those cornerbacks that transcends and becomes an option for you regardless of whether or not you are playing in a CB required league or a DB league. Paulson Adebo is in consideration. Amik Robertson was number 3, 83% of snaps, put up 25.75 points, 3 tackles, a forced fumble, and INT. Byron Murphy, one of your favorites, Addy, 22.55 points in week 9 for your Minnesota Vikings, 97% of snaps, had been averaging about 9.7 points per game the last 5 games. Simone Biles' husband, Jonathan Owens, Green Bay Packers, 20.6 points, 100% of snaps, 8 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, a QB hit. Jair Alexander, his teammate, was 6th, 19.75 points, 100% of snaps. Let's just go through the top 12 here, and then we can hit whoever we want to talk about. Grant Delpit was number 7, 19.15 points on 83% of snaps. Kyle Duggar, another Patriot on the list. I hate to say it, but Kyle Duggar and Juwan Bentley are definitely top options at linebacker and safety, respectively. 18.5 points in week 9, 100% of snaps. That's the 3rd week in a row that Kyle Duggar has played 100% of snaps. Reed Blankenship has been awesome this year. Another great week in week 9, 18.25 points on 100% of snaps. Speaking of dogs and cornerbacks, Nate Hobbs, Las Vegas Raiders, 17.75 points in week 9, 15.89 points per game average the last 5 games, 79% of snaps. His teammate, though, so the Raiders, again, just absolutely feasted on the New York Giants. Trayvon Merrick was number 11 on the week, 17.55 points. He's been heating up. 13.91 points per game the last 5 games, 100% of snaps for Trayvon, and then Denzel Ward rounds out the top 12, 17.25 points, 77% of snaps. Addy, who do you want to talk about? Some good DBs on this list.
Yeah, this is a really nice list of folks right here. Denzel Ward, I love Denzel Ward in cornerback leagues. That dude is just always a big play threat. Trevon Moehrig, he's seen a nice glow up this year, DB 19 on the season. 64.9 overall PFF grade. That's 44th among safeties. But his usage is improved. But yeah, I mean, he's been actually usable for IDP. I mean, this is a guy that I think he was a first round pick at one point, at least a second. Moehrig,
yeah,
Trevon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'm saying that perfectly.
Trayvon Merrick, I think it is.
Yeah, but he's been awesome. His teammate Nate Hobbs, 76.4 overall PFF grade this season, 16th best among cornerbacks. Now, he has only played, I think, like 3 or 4 games.
Merrick was a 2nd-round pick in 2021. And apparently his name on Google is Merrick Woodard. So what's going on there?
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Do we need to be adding that in Sleeper maybe, potentially?
Maybe. Reed Blankenship, yeah, just a stud. 84.5 overall PFF grade. That's 7th best among safeties. He's DB 8 on the season. So, I mean, the grades are matching to production. Just another really good find from Philly. Crazy how they do that. 65.2 overall PFF grade for Kyle Duggar this year. That's 43rd among safeties. He's DB 7 on the season and is just red hot right now. Grant Delpit, he's DB 36 on the season, 77.6 overall PFF grade. That ranks 10th among safeties. So love to see that right there. I think that covers about all the ones I want to talk about.
Well, there you go.
That's a good list, though, right there.
It's a very good list. It's a nice mix of cornerbacks and safeties as well.
Reed Blankenship, boy,
he's been so good.
He's been awesome, dude.
So good. Did you see the weird video of the ref like groping Kevin Byard's butt?
I saw that.
I was really into that.
Kevin Byard's been good, in his first 2 games.
Yep.
I think he had 9 tackles this week. So
the Eagles are so good.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be, it might be a Bird Bowl. I called the Bird Bowl before. Actually, I had Seahawks, but I had Ravens in, I think, as well. I think I ran it back with the Ravens in the AFC. They're looking good as well. Could be
Ravens look amazing. I think
Ravens, Eagles could be fun.
I think their defense is number 1 in DVOA by like a lot.
There was a fun nugget from that game. Again, going back to Greg Rosenthal said he has never seen a bigger mismatch between 2 lines than the Baltimore offensive line versus the Seattle defensive line. They ran for 7.7 yards per carry.
Damn.
Like just This guy,
Gus, Mitchell, both of them went nuts.
Just went nuts. See, Mitchell had like 150 something yards or something like that.
10 carries or
yes,
something.
Just nuts. I mean, they just shredded. That was just one of those just wipeout games. But let's talk quickly about some stinkers from the defensive back position, which we should expect this week to week. Again, defensive backs are not reliable, but DB 2 on the season, Cameron Bynum, just 8 points in week 9, 4 tackles and a PD on 100% of snaps. DB 9 on the season, Kyle Hamilton, 7.25 points. He's been averaging 11.5 points per game the last 5 games, 98% of snaps. Again, remember, all of the Ravens IDPs in large part were down, except for Kyle Van Noy this game. So DB 11 on the season, Antoine Winfield, 6.25 points, 100% of snaps. And then DB 13 on the season, Cam Curl, 6.5 points in week 9 on 100% of snaps. Any concern for any of these guys, Addy?
No, hell no. Another nice 4-pack of safeties here.
Yep.
Cam Bynum, 85.1 overall PFF grade. That ranks 8th among safeties. So you love to see that he's grading well and producing. Kyle Hamilton, 74.4 overall PFF grade this year. That's 26 among safeties. Antoine Winfield, 88.9 overall PFF grade. That's 3rd best among safeties. 77.8 in 2022, 86.1 in 2021, 67.1 in 2020. So shout out to Antoine Winfield. And then Cam Curl, 77.2 overall PFF grade. That's 12th among safeties this season. So, I mean, all these guys.
Averaging damn near 15 points per game the last 5 games.
He's been really good.
He's been very good.
No doubt about it.
Yep. So let's move, though, to storylines. And this is essentially some just newsworthy nuggets that you need to be paying attention to, unrelated to some of the top scores. Addy, sadly, our mulleted hero, Cole Holcomb's season is over.
It was a bad one, too.
Really, really, really bad knee injury.
And he had, stay overnight in hospital. They were concerned about it. It was that bad. So, I mean, that's when that stuff happens, you worry about, can this guy ever recover from it?
So wish the best for Cole Holcomb, because that was really, really gruesome. It always feels really weird talking like fantasy football after a guy stays in the hospital overnight because of like a life-altering injury, but that's what we're here to do. So we'll tell you Quan Alexander, Landon Roberts, those roles have solidified now, and both should be top waiver targets for you going into week 10.
Yeah, Landon Roberts is extremely efficient. He's already been really good for us in best ball, even though he hasn't gotten the snaps. We thought that he was going to be like a 60 to 70% snap type guy.
Yep.
But he's really been like a 30 to 40, I think. So hopefully he gets up in that, that range like we thought he was going to get into. And if he does, I think he's going to be a really good producer for us. So I'll be trying to get a lot of Landon Roberts. And then, Quan Alexander too, if he's out there, and I'm in a desperate situation, he could be really good too. So
Landon's the guy you want.
I think so.
I think so too.
But I won't be surprised if Quan's really good too, man.
I think they could both be good.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's talk about the Colts, though. Does this just go back to status quo once Zaire Franklin is back in the lineup? Shaq Leonard, 75, 80% of snaps, sprinkling in EJ Speed.
Yeah, it's Zaire Franklin, and then I don't really want anything else.
Yeah, Saguna Luby.
No.
That's,
no, he's done.
Yeah, that was... that will probably go down as one of the weirdest developments from this season. Seems like a slam dunk, EJ Speed, Shaq Leonard week, and Saguna Luby off the top turnbuckle, just dropping the elbow.
Yeah, I mean, that may be the biggest curveball we've seen so far.
I can't think of one that's like, who? Who was that? Where did this guy come from?
Maybe that can be, maybe the name of the episode can be more...
Nope, you're not
Alubi.
More Alubi? No.
Question mark?
No, less Alubi, please. less Alubi is a good thing. This is
sound off if you want to hear that.
No, absolutely don't do that. Don't point at the camera at him. It's bad. It's bad. Bad etiquette. Number 3, Bradley Chubb hasn't scored less than 15 points since week 5, or less than 12 since week 4. 19.35 points in week 9, 15.53 points per game average the last 5 games. Bradley Chubb has been awesome, Addy. Cam Jordan finally got himself a sack, 19.15 points in
Addy
week 9.
has been awesome.
You've been on a roll. The Bradley Chubb, Cam Jordan, it's really making me sick. But another down week for Brian Burns, compounded by the concussion, 7 points in week 9, just 9.8 points per game average since week 4. What are we doing with Brian Burns?
we're not panicking. If
I'm panicking a little bit. In
mean,
redraft, in dynasty.
Oh, in redraft, yeah. In redraft, you're not feeling good.
I think I'm sitting this guy down. Hopefully, I've got some better options.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Bradley Chubb, which that's very possible. I mean, even if you have Zadarius Smith, somebody that's heating up.
Karlaftis, I'm putting in over this guy. I mean, I just think that Brian Burns needs to be moved down the rankings. He's not performed this year.
I think he's going to be okay, though. Let him come back from concussion.
You don't get to do this with every underperforming player because then Brian Burns is going to play well down the stretch, and then you're going to be like, look at me. I'm so great.
He is. It's been bad, though. 9.8 points per game.
Bad.
Since week 4. I mean, that ain't Brian Burns. I mean, I don't think Brian Burns is one of these, elite types, but
he's better than this.
He should
What's going on?
He should be, in the 14 to 15
Is he hurt?
Per game.
Is he hurt and we just don't know about it?
It's just not a good situation. I've talked about this a lot already, but I mean, he did the holdout weirdness, where he held out at the very end. Remember?
Well, and then came back because he had no leverage, and essentially his contract wasn't going to toll if he didn't show up and play. So
all the trade rumors.
Yep.
The team stinks.
He
doesn't. He has maybe the least help out of any of these. He probably does have the least help out of any of these elite guys.
Yep. The team sucks.
So yeah, I mean, you can't blame him for being frustrated there, and also it's been like this his whole career. It's not been fun at all. He's had to deal with some weird coaches and weird management and weird owners, and
I hate to say it, but I have a bad feeling Frank Reich may be one and done with the Panthers. I love Frank Reich. I think he's a good coach, but
somebody's gonna have to be the scapegoat for this young stuff.
If this team goes 2-15, someone's getting fired. You can't fire the owner. You're not going to let go of your rookie quarterback. I just think somebody's head has got to roll if this season goes that poorly.
It is a bad team, though.
It is a bad team.
I mean, that's truly one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. But
yep. So let's wrap up, though, Addy, with some Week 10 waiver targets. We've mentioned a few already. Go check your waivers to see if Zach Cunningham, Tyrell Dodson are out there. We'll talk about the linebackers, but those are just a couple, these dudes have already been on the radar. It's not like we've not talked about these dudes on previous episodes, but let's start with the DL Addies. Just some interesting options here. Shout out Boo Bam for putting this list together for us. Make sure you check out his article. It drops Monday night, first to market, to give you a head start on your waivers. We give you the DBs and the DL for free, and then linebackers are for paid supporters. So check it out, theidpshow.com. But Sam Williams, Boye Mafe, Kentavious Street, Atlanta Falcons. This was a fun one. He was previously with the Philadelphia Eagles. New team. He's finally getting some run. First game with the Falcons. Played 63% of snaps, 5 tackles, a fumble recovery. That's kind of fun. You like to see a guy get a fresh start and do well. Boye Mafe sacking 6 straight games, rostered in just 21% of leagues. They are past their bye week. This is important. This is something Boo Bam pointed out in the waiver wire article. There are still 16 teams yet to have their bye week. So if you have a player who has passed their bye week, that makes them a very attractive option. So he plays Washington and Sack Hal next week. So Boye Mafe, if he's out there, maybe you're in a little bit of a shallower league, pick this guy up. Passed his bye. You got Sack Hal coming up. That's going to be one of the top starts. And then Sam Williams. This is a guy I think, had some high hopes for going into the season. I think he had the DUI or the reckless driving incident, got suspended for that. But had a nice little week. He started off, he had a foot injury to start the season as well. He's starting to get his feet, pun intended, under him, coming off the bye in week 7. They have the Giants next week. Division game after a loss, then Carolina and Washington. Good, not great matchups. I just think 13% rostered. Sam Williams is just a nice guy to keep on the radar.
Yeah, especially in dynasty leagues.
Yes,
I think
agreed.
it's a good time to go scan and make sure he didn't get dropped or whatever. Because this guy is very talented. Just got off to a really bad start.
Maybe it's because I roster both of these guys, but he kind of reminds me of like a Jermaine Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Like a guy that's looming. He kind of feels like he's got next at some point.
I think so too. And then, DeMarcus Lawrence isn't getting any younger.
Yep.
So, I mean, there could be a real chance where he gets a massive role at some point there. And if it's a opposite of Micah Parsons, that's a nice situation that I would like to have some pieces of. So, yes, Sam Williams needs to be rostered in your leagues. In your dynasty leagues. At redraft, I'm not having a ton of hope.
No.
I mean, I don't see him really getting much opportunity this year, honestly. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence has still been really, really good. Micah Parsons is amazing. Dorrance Armstrong's still there and fine. Dante Fowler's been surprisingly solid too. I mean, it's just it's a big rotation there.
Defensive line full of dogs.
But yes, I think Sam Williams is a nice name here just to remind you, like, check your dynasty leagues.
Yeah, just check it out. Make sure he's not sitting out there on dynasty waivers.
Yeah.
Let's move to linebacker, though. We mentioned Zach Cunningham with the Nakobe Dean injury, Tyrell Dodson with the Terrell Bernard injury. Now, Saguna Luby is worth paying attention to depending on the health of Zaire Franklin. So if we get later into the week and Zaire is looking like maybe he's going to miss another week, I mean, shoot, I don't see why they wouldn't just roll this guy back out there. The team won. So just he's one to, I don't know that I'm blowing a waiver priority on this guy Tuesday night, but just keep an eye on him later in the week. Because if Zaire Franklin is back, it's him and Shaq Leonard sprinkling in EJ Speed. I think Alubi goes back to obscurity. Damone Clark, he's only rostered in 25% of leagues. He's had 6 or more tackles over the last 6 games, 92% of snaps in week 9. No more buys. So that's important. Check to see if Damone Clark is out there. I think you said LB 3-4 option for you, Addy. We mentioned it. Landon Roberts, Quan Alexander, Cole Holcomb lost for the season. They have a game on Thursday night. So if you need a fill-in, like we said, a Landon Roberts, I would probably prioritize. But Quan Alexander, if you get desperate, is an option as well.
That's Landon Roberts, though. He had 9 tackles on, I think, 50% of the snaps?
Yep.
Somewhere. That's what he does.
And available in 22% of leagues. Or is available in 22% of leagues. Yep. So, or probably rostered in 22% of leagues.
Yeah.
So go out and get this guy. I think last week we talked about some of those injury replacement guys, Leo Chenal, Drew Tranquil, Jack Sanborn. This feels like one of the higher priority waiver targets in my mind.
Yeah.
Because we know Holcomb's not coming back.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, he's checked dynasty too. Cause I mean, I'm fine having guys like this on my team. Like he'll get his spots, we're seeing it right now. I mean, if he performs well and looks good, he's going to continue to get those opportunities down the line. So, yeah, you should be in redraft and also check dynasty as well.
Yep. And then Amari Burney, Las Vegas Raiders, 6th-round pick, only linebacker drafted by the Raiders this season, 51% of snaps in week 9. Divine Diablo and a bunch of journeymen at the position. We had Diablo and Masterson were out this week, so I think it was Big Bob Spillane and Amari Burney. Burney had 6 tackles. He's just rostered in 3% of leagues. This is a new coaching staff. So remember, this is the time of year when things can start to change, when you have a new coaching staff in place. So sort of like Alubi, just one of those names to keep an eye on. I think probably Masterson or Diablo's coming back at some point.
Yes, right.
So I'm not burning a priority spot on Burney. That was a beautiful job by me there.
Really good.
Tuesday night, but just, again, keep an eye on this guy. Same with Christian Roseboom. 5 or more tackles over the last 3 games, 74% of snaps in week 9. Ernest Jones missed time. They're going into the bye, so no one's going to be interested in Roseboom, but you get Seattle after the bye week. So, yeah, I mean, I think Christian Roseboom, depending on the health, there's a lot of these guys that are like health contingent options here, like Zaire Franklin, Alubi, Diablo and Masterson. Look at Burney, and then Roseboom with Ernest Jones. So just, hey, check out Lee's injury podcast, Banged Up. He'll give you the lowdown on whether he thinks these guys are going to play, and then you can go scoop up a Roseboom if it looks like Ernest Jones isn't going to play.
I think the Raiders also brought in Jalen Smith.
They did. They signed Jalen Smith.
So
Blake Martinez is back with the Panthers. We should mention that.
Yeah.
He got booted out of the Pokemon trading card space because he was defrauding people, allegedly. So welcome back to the NFL, Blake Martinez.
Yeah, but who knows how the linebacker situation is going to be there in Las Vegas, just because, I mean, that interim head coach was a former linebacker himself. So, I mean, who knows, who knows what he wants. But, yeah, I would be surprised if it's Burney. I feel like Masterson's going to – I think it was a concussion that he was dealing with.
I think it goes back to Big Bob Spillane and Divine Diablo.
Definitely Spillane. I don't think Spillane's in trouble at all. But then, yeah, probably Diablo.
Yeah. I think Burney's down the pecking order for me. But just pay attention because you never know what can happen. It's a little bit of uncertainty. Let's move to DB, though. If Paulson Adebo is out there on your waivers, for God's sakes, go grab this guy. He's been incredible. Jonathan Owens, if he's out there, has been a really nice option. Rudy Ford's out with a calf injury. He had 7 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. And then second week in a row with 100% of snaps. The Packers, remember, traded Rasul Douglas to Buffalo. Eric Stokes is still recovering. Lots of snaps available in the Green Bay secondary. The guy I want to talk about, though, Addy, Marquise Bell, Dallas Cowboys. He is the cheat code player right now, listed as a DB on a lot of platforms, playing linebacker snaps, 94% of snaps. I think he actually outsnapped Damone Clark in week 9. 6 or more tackles over the last 3 games. The bye week is behind them. Giants next week, who bleed points to opposing linebackers, and without a QB, they are going to run Saquon Barkley 1 million times. Marquise Bell is a very, very sneaky pickup at linebacker / DB.
Oh, yeah. This is maybe my favorite name on the list, but yeah, I mean, he's everything you said. I mean, he's what you want. I mean, you don't get a lot of these types anymore because, I mean, for the most part, if they get labeled as such, people throw a big fit or whatever. But
yes.
Yeah, this is one of those rare exceptions, slip through the cracks, and
just enjoy it while we got it, because it may change tomorrow.
Definitely will change next year for sure. But,
yes.
Yeah, he's a great option. 94% of the snaps in week 9.
And I think
beautiful.
The vast majority, 70+% of those, came at the linebacker position.
Mm-hmm.
So that does it for this week's recap episode. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Let us know what you thought of the new format. Addy, I liked it. We got to talk about a lot of players. We hit some of the big scores, some of the stinkers, some storylines, some waivers. And like we said, next week, you'll get the waiver episode as a separate episode that will drop Tuesday morning. So we're just trying to take care of y'all. We're trying to evolve and mix things up and just do right by the listeners and the viewers.
That's right.
So
you're all we care about.
That's right. We should mention, too, as part of kind of the reshuffling, we mentioned it on Twitter. We sent out an article through the website that Jake Colhagen will be hosting a start-sit live stream. It's the IDP Show live Sunday mornings. We're going to be kicking that off around 9 a.m. Central Time. Jake will be live for 30, 45 minutes answering all of your start-sit questions. So Come on over, hang out, have some fun. We'll get those lineups ready for kickoff, Addy.
Hit the bell. Right?
That's right. You got to hit the bell. Yes. Subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when that live stream goes live.
But for the most part, that one's going to be every Sunday morning around, 9
to 10 range. Yeah. Start time. So
yeah, just you can't start your day any better than that. You know?
That's right.
And we'll probably hop in and join them on occasion as well,
That's right. Well,
not this week.
Not this week. I think Jake's going to be flying solo, but we've got some fun guests lined up. I think Boo Bam's going to hop in there, and the younger king, Evan Ringler, has already agreed to come on. Aaron Evers is going to be jumping in there. So
lots of hands.
Lots of folks going to be jumping in to help Jake with that live stream. But check it out. Jake's the perfect person to do this for us, and we're really excited to finally offer that live stream. So
that boy can buy one hell of a shirt.
That's right. We know he has exquisite taste in merchandise. So he has exquisite taste when it comes to your start-sit decisions as well. So check it out. Make sure you check out the website as well. We just had our free preview week, so hopefully y'all enjoyed that. But we've got the rankings coming out on Tuesday, so they'll be up here around lunchtime tomorrow. Boo Bam's waiver article is already live. We've got the start-sit thread, so you can throw your questions in there for the live stream.
Stats should be live tomorrow.
Addy's grinding on those.
Cranking those out pretty much all day. So, yeah, that's been a lot of fun. It's been cool just seeing. I mean, you heard sharp. You heard a lot of nugs tonight that we pulled from these stats. So, just tons of stuff in there. Just go get lost for hours, guys.
Just abandon your family for about 4 hours. Take you a nice bathroom break at work. Pull up the logs.
Do some drugs. Pull up those logs, dude, and just get lost.
We're going to go because I think Addy needs to go to bed. He's had a long day, and he's saying some crazy stuff. But, yes, we will be back on Thursday morning. Wednesday night, Jace will be back with Mike Wollert. They're going to be talking about their weekly rankings. Mike is jumping back in for an encore rankings episode. And then next week, we will have the godfather of IDP, Gary Davenport.
Damn, son.
We'll be on the program talking rankings with Jace. So make sure you check that out.
So we got Varnes Friday.
We got Varnes on Friday for IDP bets. We got Wollert for the rankings episode. We got Davenport next week. We got the IDP trade show coming up.
Just a couple young boys in a shed in Kentucky.
That's right. And I'm trying to get Sigmund Bloom in for a dynasty episode here soon. So
I tell you what,
we have some very good friends, Addy.
Hard to stay humble.
That's we're gonna going to go right now because I don't know what else is going to come out of his mouth. So thank you all so much for listening. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure you check out theidpshow.com, and we'll see y'all back on Sunday night, Monday morning to talk through the recap for week 10. But hey, this was a lot of fun. What do you say we do it again next week?
I just want to say that is like one of my favorite Kanye West lines. Hard to be humble when you stunt on a Jumbotron.
There you go, folks. Wisdom from Kanye West. We will see you all later.
It's the